parts of your backstory that have contributed to you being in this position where you're able to help the reader. So I structure it so that the top part of the page is about that backstory, and then it transitions into what it is that you do now and how you can help people, and then you kind of build in those credibility statements so they can start thinking, okay, you know, you've been where I am, you understand that I need, you're experienced in this way. And it is that really careful balancing act of creating a connection, because you have shared a part of yourself, you shared this story, not completely flooding them with information so they go like, okay, no, I'm going to go away, you need a therapist. Like, whoa, that's too much. And you are giving some reassurance that you are a credible expert, you know what you're doing, but again, you're not flooding them with like massively boasty statements so it sounds like a nasty sales pitch, because this is not the time for sales pitches. So it's one of the hardest pages to get right, and I think it's easy to gloss over it and go, okay, well, I'll do that later, but that's the page that people look for. When they come to your website, they'll consume whatever content they landed on, so if it was a blog post or a freebie, but their next step is going to be is to look and think, person for me, are we, you know, is this going to go somewhere? And so they'll click on your about page.
So I immediately think I'm going to have to go and rewrite my about page. But the other thing this is making me think about is, I don't know if you work with people who are speakers, but I was at an event this week and there were 4 speakers, and it's very brave to get up and speak in front of a room of people, especially if you're not really necessarily, it's not like a big polished conference thing. I was at one of those yesterday. It's a very different setting. But people standing up and speaking, and it was really an opportunity for them to tell us their business story. But some of them literally walked us through, you know, their life history. And I was kind of looking around the room and thinking, no, you've lost the audience here. So you're really, you know, it's a bit of a shame because you've lost the audience and people are tuning out. And people who are speaking need help, I think, with writing. And I know that certainly in other podcasts I've heard about people who their business is to help people write their talks. Is that something you do as well?
I don't. I have a deep-seated fear of speaking to more than one person at a time. So I was like, never ever claimed to be able to help people with that. And it is completely different, and I do get asked to do stuff like that, but there's a reason why it's different. So when people write online content, which is what I teach, the reader can skim it and then they can go back through it again, and that tends to be how we read online. So we will skim, it kind of orientates us to like where we are. So a little bit like if you walk into a supermarket, you see all of the banners across the aisles that will say roughly what's in each aisle, you've immediately got your bearings. You're like, I kind of know where I am and I know how this journey is going to pan out. And when you speak, you don't have that at all, because it's one word, a completely linear fashion. There's no overview. I mean, a good speaker will give you an overview at the start, and they might have some slides that help anchor you into the journey and help you like navigate it and know whereabouts you are. But it is completely different. So that my writing style is suited to online, because I help people pick out the highlights so that we can get skim readers. So that it's sort of structured so that someone will skim your page, they spot a few keywords or bolded phrases or things that make them go, oh, that's quite interesting. And then, okay, I'll go back to the top and read it all the way through.
Yes, so it kind of catches their eye. Yeah, that's really interesting. Because I do online courses and I do slides, but I also do speaking gigs, and I do workshops where I have my slides with me. And I always say at the start, here's what we're going to cover today. I do that. So they do have a pathway through. And I see now that that's completely different to standing up to a room of people and giving like a 15-minute talk about yourself.
Yeah. And people I've likened that to, you know, those autoplay videos where you've got no control over where you are in the video, like you can't skip it.
Yeah.
You can't see how long it's going to be. I can't bear that, because I want to know, like, am I halfway through a 15-minute video or am I 10% through something that's going to take 4 hours? It's like, I need to know how much I'm going to have to invest in this and have control over the flow of information. That's why I don't do well with real life speaking, because I can't control the person speaking and make them go faster or slower to suit my pace. I'm a bit of a control freak.
Do you not like going to see other people speaking either then?
I don't do it very often. I went to London last year and saw Denise Duffield Thomas.
Oh, wow.
Which was like a bit of a group outing.
Yes.
But again, that was really well structured, small bite-sized chunks, because she's used to writing for an online audience, that speech was for an audience that was built online.
Yes.
So I think it kind of recognised our level of impatience and inattention. So there was plenty of slides and things to look at.
Somebody said yesterday, and I thought, maybe that was true, that people who are in the online business world, there's a wee bit of ADHD about us all.
Oh, like definitely. Yeah. And I'm quite often introvert as well. So I am the INFJ personality type.
Oh, I got that done, and I don't ever remember what it is.
Well, that's supposed to be like the rarest one. And then whenever that comes up in a Facebook group of business people, entrepreneurs, the number of people that go, I am that too. And I think, there's a really massive disproportionate amount of the population that have left like regular life and jobs and gone, I can't hack it in the real world. I need to come into this like little bubble where I can be as quiet and introverted as I want to be.
Yes, I think NFJ is me, but I don't know if I'm I or E. I can't remember, but I do remember when I did that. I'll never forget the day. So I was working as a software engineer in BT in Belfast, and they brought in somebody to do that with us all for a group exercise. And they had this big chart up on the wall with the 4 segments. And they had all these dots everywhere, and then they had this one dot way over here on its own. And the guy actually said, who's this? Who's this dot? And I was like, oh, that's me. And he looked at me and went, why are you working here? I was like, actually, I don't know. And I was thinking about leaving anyway. And he's just going, and then my manager went, oh, but there's a place for everybody here. And I was thinking, no, I'm not really wild about being here either. So that's just like really confirmed my suspicions.
Yeah, this is where we all hang out. We just hang out online, where we don't actually have to meet each other in real life or follow like a structured work day. We can just make it up as we go along and see ourselves.
Well, I wonder, am I an ENF? I don't know what I am. I might have to look it up before.
I feel like if you don't know whether you're an extrovert or an introvert, then there's a very good chance you're an extrovert. Anyone who's an introvert like knows it. It's like after 10 minutes, after this interaction, I'm going to have to go and lie down in a darkened room under a duvet to recover.
Oh no, then I think I'm an extrovert, Laura, because I think I was definitely an introverted child at school. I know I was, because I just hung out on my own with books in the playground. I would just sit on a bench and read my book rather than bother with everybody else at lunchtime, to the point where my sister came home really like kind of worried about me to my mum. But I think I changed. I just decided I wasn't going to be like that anymore when I went to university. And now I think I very much have the attitude of, you know what, to build my business and to build my local workshops and stuff here, just think I'm going to go in there, I'm going to take a deep breath and just go in and start talking to people. So this episode is brought to you by the Social Bee Academy, your online learning space to market and grow your business. With monthly training, live group coaching calls, a thriving community and resource library. If you're looking for learning, focus and accountability, the Social Bee Academy is for you. Come and check it out at www.louisebrogan.com. Can you train yourself to be like that? I don't know. That's how I am now.
You have to go and do the quiz, and then you need to go do a quiz and report back, because now we all want to know.
But not a quiz on Facebook that wants to share my friends' profiles.
No, apparently not.
So let's talk a little bit about your online courses. Tell us a little bit about them. Do you have a whole pile of them? Is it a pathway you walk through? What way does it work?
In an ideal world, it would be a very structured pathway, but my brain doesn't work like that.
Me too.
So it's like smattering of courses. So I can't remember how many there are, but there's one that covers how to write your about page. There's one that covers how to write all different types of sales and services pages. There's one for blogging, there's one for guest posting, and I know that there's one that's about navigation, so your home page, your menu bar, and your contact page, because they're like the 3 elements that help people find their way around and reach out for help if they need it. Mm-hmm. And then the best value way of working through those courses is if you buy an annual pass. and that means that you just get like a theme park annual pass but without the roller coasters. You just get to access every course for a whole year. Yes. And if I add any new courses, which I am doing on a semi-regular basis, that's included in the pass as well. And that has felt for me like a really relaxed way of doing it. Like I had a monthly subscription membership that was called That Was the Club, and I was at Christmas transitioned over to Thinkific and put all my courses over there. When it was done on like a rolling monthly basis, I felt a lot of pressure to create new stuff every month, whether I felt inspired to do that or not, or whether it felt relevant or not. So I didn't want to be creating content for content's sake. And also I had a lot of feedback from people that they found the commitment to a month, like once they didn't have to stay once they paid monthly, but they felt like they had to, and then that was a hard commitment to make. So I've just done it as like an annual pass option. You pay for it once, use it as much as you want over the year. I know that over the scope of the year, someone will definitely get like more than enough value to justify paying for it. Yeah, so you don't have to constantly see like a monthly amount coming out. And then for people who need like more hands-on one-to-one support, I have the VIPs, which is basically the club but up leveled to include like weight.
Oh, right, okay.
That's what Sinead's in.
Right.
So we have a separate, much smaller Facebook group. I do 3 drop-in calls a week. So I literally just sit at my like there's a link. I sit at my desk, and if someone clicks on the link, I'll be sat there ready to answer their questions.
Okay.
Because we find it much easier to chat about writing than it is to write about writing, because the whole point is if you're struggling with what you need to say, writing it down on a question is basically difficult.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was like, let's just have an opportunity when we can talk to each other.
Yeah.
And so that's working really well. So I love that I've got like those 2 tiers where people, if they're
I like the idea too, actually.
Yeah, and it serves 2 very different audiences. The people who are just getting started and they need that help, the templates, they need some guidance on what to put on their website, then they can just buy an annual pass and work through it in their own time. And those who are a bit more established, and it tends to be people who have already been in business for a couple of years, they're already making money, but they want to know how to do that with a bit more consistency, like have a bit more of a structured approach with how they communicate with their audience. And we can work out that strategy together, and I'm there like every week to give them a nudge and go like, have you done the things you said you would? Do you need help with anything? Yeah. So I keep enjoying having those 2 different levels or 2 different aspects to it now.
No, it's really interesting because I launched my membership in January and we're now in March, and I've changed it just this month. So whereas previously I do add content every month, and I was chatting to somebody in London a couple of weeks ago about the structure of it. So, when you're just starting out with these things, you're trying different ways of making it work. But I'm adding content in every month. And then I've switched it up to have, instead of doing like a monthly Q&A call, I'm doing a weekly one on a Friday morning. So I was doing that this morning before I came on with you. And it's lovely. So I had some of my members came on and they had sent questions in advance. And we just literally talked through a few of the issues. So my membership is all about learning how to market your business online. So today we talked about a change in Facebook groups. And I walked them through how to install the Facebook pixel on their websites. And we talked a bit about advertising, and we talked about memberships and stuff. And it's lovely. And I think actually I quite like the idea of meeting them weekly, because then you get a better bond, because if you're only meeting people once a month face to face.
Because the issue that when you only do something monthly, then people forget that it's happening. It's a massive gap, and it's not like embedded in their consciousness that I've got to turn up at this time. Yeah. If you're always there on a Friday morning, then some Fridays they can't make it and think, okay, it's not a big deal, I'll come next week.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It's part of their weekly routine. So I'm really enjoying doing it that way. But you said about like you only started in January and you're just getting to know it and make changes. This is my 3rd version of this membership site.
There you are.
For the last 2.5 years. So the first version I had, how it came about anyway was that when I was doing my one-to-one copywriting, I was creating templates for myself to use. I had like the same questions that I would ask my clients every time. So I was creating a library of materials for myself. Yeah. It made my job much easier. And then after a while I thought like other people would really benefit from seeing this if they could just use my templates and ask themselves a question they'd have what they needed to write their own version.
Yeah.
So I created an about page course, and I created a sales page course. That was as far as I got, those two. And I had a subdomain on my website. I set it up with LearnDash. I can't tell you how much work this was to do this. Like, I made the whole thing in LearnDash, all the graphics,